folks. This is Patrick with Southern Fellow. Welcome to our latest episode of the Luncheonette. We have Greye here with Miss Summer and Mr. Jet.
Hello.
Greye with E at the end of it, so don't misspell it like I did.
Oh, no,
but anyhow, so this is our first rock group. I'm excited about that.
We're honored. Thanks for having us.
So how did y'all get into the rock and roll business?
Oh, man. It was it was a very long road for us, which began like 12 years ago in high school when we met, and I basically bothered Jet for a really long time.
Were you just like the guitar guy in class?
Well, there was 1 year that they offered a guitar class, and the band teacher taught the guitar class, but he didn't teach guitar.
He didn't play guitar.
But there were a couple of us that played guitar prior to that. And then he kind of separated everyone into groups, and Hannah and I ended up in the same group with a couple other people. One of them
ended up in the same group. Like, I didn't absolutely force myself to be near you. So
wow. Whoa. Whoa.
It was me. I was the muse.
I guess. Wow. That's amazing. He was that good at guitar, huh?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was just the back of your head that I was just like, oh, my God, that guy knows what he's talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
Did you have the hair back then?
No, it was
No.
real
Oh,
short.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
looked like Dante from Devil May Cry, if
That's
anyone.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Jordan, we got to educate you, my
Yeah,
friend.
please, come on.
But I played only acoustic guitars at that point. I just didn't like the feel of an electric. And
Why was it? Because it was too easy to play and sounded too good, or was it like?
well, it just didn't.
Sounded
I just
too
played
cool
so much
and-
acoustic that like when I transitioned to an electric, it just didn't feel right.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
an acoustic guitar kind of fights,
It does.
So
No,
like-
no, no,
Yeah.
no. I know exactly what you're talking about.
and
yeah.
then you can kind of get a particular tone.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I listened to a lot too. John Butler Trio from Australia at that time,
Okay.
and then everybody in that class had acoustic guitars. So then we wrote the first song that the band ever wrote was actually the first project of that class. They asked
Whoa,
us to
that's
write.
cool.
Yeah, they asked us to just put a chord progression together, and then you can call it a song and play, and you get your grade. And I thought, because Hannah played music and I played music, I thought it would be so cool to write like a legitimate song, like 4-minute piece with like parts. So we did, and it was cool, and we actually called it Greye. So that's
The song was called Greye?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's cool.
So that's how we came up
Oh,
with the
I
name
like
of the
that.
band.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because we needed a name after we met everybody.
Yeah, and you were really cool, and you were just like, oh, it sounds like Grey.
Oh,
The song. It sounds
so
like the
cool.
color,
Yeah.
so we should call it
So
that.
did you write the lyrics?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? Like, so you played guitar obviously previous to the like being in school, like or in that guitar class. But were you already writing songs?
I was.
Cool.
Yeah, I was like quiet little church choir musical theater nerd turned like YouTube obsessed lady in high
Ooh.
school, because that was kind of right around the advent of when like the YouTube acoustic musician was kind of starting to crop up.
I see.
And I had my own little silly YouTube channel. Rest in peace.
Is it? So you can't look it up.
no.
Do you put it on private?
It has died a death, thank God.
Wow.
But yeah, and so I was, always writing like anything but my schoolwork in class. So poetry, stories, song lyrics,
Yep.
you name it. I was always doing that. And then when I met you, it was just like, oh, the pieces fit together so well. So yeah, I wrote the lyrics for Greye, sitting, I don't know, in some part of our high school, and we played it together. And then the way that the rest of the band kind of came together was we played it at the Battle of the Bands that year at the school.
And crushed.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Second
we
place.
No
we
way.
didn't crush
You're
all the
joking.
way.
Second.
Yeah, we didn't crush all the way. We got second place. But our now drummer, Ray Grimard, was in the audience, and he was like, "Oh, those kids really have something there."
Wow, cool.
I remember he went to the table and he said, if they don't win, you don't know what you're doing.
Wow.
And then we came in
And
second.
They don't know what they're
They
doing.
came in
Yeah,
second.
they didn't
He came
know.
to us and he said, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
They're like,
so
we're
he
gonna fix that.
Yeah, so he invited us to his place. He's always had a studio for most of his life, and he has one down here, and that's kind of where we took off. And
Wow, that's
got it.
awesome. And y'all have been playing ever since, right?
Yeah.
I mean, y'all
Yeah.
have like consistently been playing.
It has not
And
stopped.
you have so many albums too. That's what's really
Yeah.
impressive too. Is
Thank
like, I mean,
you.
writing a lot is really impressive, and just like keep going and going and going is really awesome. Now, like, do you write lyrics too, or are you just like guitar guy? And like, is that how the pieces just work together? It was just like, you need someone to write lyrics, you need someone to play guitar for you, or like, is that kind of
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's been really organic from the
Mhm.
beginning, which is great. I mean, I wrote some pieces and some songs I would present. Like a good example was, let's see, what album is Everything on? The Warrior,
Yeah, it was on the
the third one.
third, and
So-
then we sort of did we redo it?
Yeah, so
Yeah, we
that's kind of
redid
a
it.
cool journey. Like, I wrote a whole piece called Everything. It's on our third record, and I presented it to the band, and then the band liked it. Then we did that. So that was just like a example of like one of the few songs that I kind of wrote, and
that's
then
cool.
the band will write their parts. You know, you get like
That was my next thing I was gonna ask,
Right.
but
you get the concept of what you want to hear, and then everybody puts in what they want to, and then usually it's really organic and it works really well together, and there's not a
Yeah.
lot of revision. And then in this case, we actually redid that song for this album because
the new one.
for 7,
7, yeah,
and
which I have.
Oh.
so
One of y'all
that,
gave it to me one time.
Cool.
Yeah.
so that was actually a remake, but Hannah you rewrote it, like
Well,
some of the words
Yeah,
in it.
just a little bit.
So now
So
the
it's-
story kind of
yeah.
organically continued to grow.
That's
But
cool.
most of it, we just write individually our parts.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a cool lick, or the bass player will have a cool lick, or Ray will have a cool drum pattern, then I jump on it. And really the only exception to like that organic growth is if you have a full concept, which is most of 7,
Yeah.
is actually Hannah, most of
Yeah.
that.
Wow,
Which is-
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was just me playing the guitar really badly in our spare bedroom, and then being like, "Jet, please help me."
Well, the cool thing is, like, I would have never, like, we have a song called Underdog. I would have never come up with that lick. And it's a perfect lick. It's, one of those songs that's so simple.
Oh my
Mhm.
god, can
Well,
I
I
get that
remember-
in writing?
Yeah.
Perfect lick. Hannah, perfect lick.
Yeah.
So that's like, yeah.
And I remember the first time we played it live, people danced to it.
Yeah,
like they knew-
wow.
like they thought they knew the
Yeah.
song. And then,
Oh,
by
cool.
the last verse or the last chorus, people were singing the song like they
Mm.
know the song.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, it's not just me that likes this song.
Yeah.
It's effective because
Mhm.
it's a simple part, but it uses everything there all the time, all the space, all the noise. It's
That's cool.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
No-
thanks.
Well, this is so nice. What's it like? So y'all are like a band. It's not just like the two of y'all, and
Yeah.
you hire the other musicians in the band. Like Greye is the 5 of y'all. 4,
Yeah,
4, 5.
well, 5, yeah,
it's
5. So it's like, how much pull do like y'all have on like come up with a different part, or like what's that like working with a band? Because like as like an artist, it's like you kind of have a different approach. It's like I have people playing for me, but like I'm like the band director. It's like
Right.
don't do that, do this. But as a band, you have other personalities, you have other feelings and whatnot. So like, what's that like? You have to kind of like pick and choose. Like we have to rework this, but I'm gonna let it slide.
Right. Yeah.
Just because of personalities or something.
Well,
I think
you
it's
want to?
I think it's always like, well, for me, it's like having the biggest security blanket, because if there's something that I can't articulate well, I know that, especially having worked with these guys for such a long time, I know that one of them, at least, if not all of them, are going to understand what I'm trying to get across.
That's cool.
And though there may at sometimes be like a little
Right, of course.
creative difference, which is always just in the best interest of whatever the end product is going to be.
Mhm.
I think we all work really well together.
Then y'all hit the jackpot.
Like, even if we ever have to like rewrite something or rework something, like I said, we all know that it's so that the end product is good, and I think it's better that way. I always have felt for people like you, Jordan, that have to be the guy,
Right.
because I've never had that experience, and I definitely I really like having so many other minds to bounce stuff off of.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
That's cool. I mean, with me, not to just like make it about me or
No,
whatever,
I
but
wanna
like
know.
Sure.
I was never the singer. I was the guy, just the guitar player or drummer for a band. But I was always like, I was always the band director though. So I had that. I came from that background of like, I know the way a band is supposed to go, and I was playing for somebody, and then I left, and I was like, I'm basically doing everything. I'm just gonna start singing too,
Right.
you know, and that's where that came from. So I'm like interested in someone like you who's like, oh, I'm not saying, you know, I've now learned that you play guitar as well and you can write, but like just taking like the chords or riffs or whatever, and then like letting 4 other people like do their thing with it.
yeah.
That must take a whole lot of trust.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, you do put your foot down and say, no, this is how it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I think that's something that this album really taught me, is because it was the first time that I was bringing like guitar licks, like whole packaged songs, at least the first time in a really long time that I was doing that and bringing that to the table. So, I just totally lost my train of thought. It's like gone.
No. You were talking about this album was the first time you did that, and like you weren't afraid to put your foot down, right?
Yeah. No, there were times that I was like, no, this has to be this way, and it turned out fine. And there were times that the guys were like, no, let's explore that. Let's change a
cool.
little thing here, a
Yeah.
little thing there.
Good.
So
Well, that's completely amazing the way y'all work together. I'm not an artist, but I've been in quite a few co-writes, and it's always either ended really well or really bad where everybody's trying to kill each other, you know,
yeah.
over something like small, just like
Yeah.
something very small. So it's just amazing that, you know, over the years y'all have been able to work well, and, you know, nobody's gone missing or
No, not yet. Not yet.
That's
It's hard
hilarious.
though. You know,
Yeah.
music is a very emotionally charged
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
That's true.
It's super personal.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
you make something, and it's hard if somebody criticizes it, even if it's constructive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is, with our band is, especially with this album, we write with like the unison goal. Like, it's fun to write stuff for yourself. Like,
Mhm.
it's fun to write in general. Like some of our favorite bands is like the prog rock stuff. Like Yes,
Wow.
Genesis, and Plenty. And I would love to play Roundabout, all of it. But you know, people that we're looking for, that we're playing for, you know, a modern audience doesn't really want to
Yeah, it's true.
listen to a 9-minute epic as
Yeah.
much as I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do love it. And we all love the 9-minute epic stuff. But we know if we want to be, you know, to the where we are, to the
Mhm.
point of success, we got to basically make it marketable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's any product ever.
Yeah.
You want people to ingest it. It isn't. I guess what a neat way to put it is we don't write music in like an entirely selfish way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not.
a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's self-serving, but it still feels good. I mean,
And you know, that could be the difference of like album and live too. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah, very true.
That
this
is true.
song we're gonna cut it, you know, with like you could do another 3 minutes on that solo or whatever,
Mhm.
but
Right.
we'll just save that for live.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
a
have a
good point.
ton of fun doing that.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Definitely.
do y'all write music with live in mind, where you're like, this will be the audience will love this part, they're really going to be into this, and like, or even like, we need another up tempo song, let's do like, do you even think about that? I mean, I don't, I'm just wondering. Like,
Right.
it just came into my head.
So one of the things that when we do put a song together, like for example, you'll introduce a song and then we'll start to put it together, get the pieces, and then we'll think about production. And one of the things that we always do try to consider is how can you pull it off live, right? Because, you know, you only got 4 or 5 people, you know, and you've got 48 tracks. So, you know, how are you going to be able to pull that off?
Yeah.
So a live version is always something that we have to be considerate of because, excuse me, I mean, there's an acoustic guitar track on everything. Literally almost all the songs we've ever done. And, you know, there's just me playing guitar on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just have to bridge that gap.
Mhm.
And I think we always are aware that we have to be able to present like a majority of the song's idea
Yeah.
in real time.
I always like to say, like, play the essence of the song,
Exactly.
like the essence of the part. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to, like, I understand that, like, the electric guitar cuts out right there and the acoustic guitar takes over, but live, it's just going to be the electric guitar.
Yeah.
Like, playing the essence of the thing. So,
Right.
yeah.
The core of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, like, what's the intent? Is it
Yeah.
to still have the strum, or is it to cut out and not have anything?
Right.
Well, we
Right.
can't have that, so
Yeah.
whatever, maybe. I have to tell a quick story. I saw y'all several years ago at One Daytona.
Yeah.
And don't take this the wrong way. There was absolutely nobody there. It was
I remember.
Yeah.
it had to be maybe at like 3:00
Yeah.
or something like that.
They
Is
say
that is that accurate? Is like when
they
they would
used to do like a 3 to 6 or a 4 to 7, like a really early in the day
interesting.
thing.
Yeah.
Is that when they hadn't even finished the construction
Yes.
yet?
Yes.
We were playing,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we would stop playing and then we would hear somebody on the job site going,
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
because the hotel, the property wasn't even
Yeah.
done.
No, it wasn't. No,
Yeah.
there was only a couple shops still, and just that like
Yeah.
middle thing was finished. But
Yeah.
I came out of Guitar Center and I heard y'all, and I was like, this is actually a good band.
Right.
I was like, you don't hear a lot of bands that like really get it and like are able to execute it live. And y'all were doing it. And I came over and I think I like shook your hand. I was like, you guys are good. So that was y'all.
Jordan.
But it was y'all. I mean, so even in that, just like coming out of the door and just like having that like show stopping moment where I was just like, okay, wait, there's actually good music playing.
Mhm.
It's not just any old band, So
Mhm.
like, hey, y'all did that. You got someone's attention,
That's
Yeah.
really
you know.
cool.
So yeah.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
Definitely.
We always try to play like there's a million people. Even
Oh,
if there
yeah,
is,
yeah.
even if there is absolutely 0 people.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the
which
most-
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Which I was just gonna say, which thankfully doesn't really happen anymore. We're pretty blessed that
Mm-hmm.
there is at least a crowd, some kind of
Right.
crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I cut you off.
No, you're good. That's the heart of why you play.
Mm-hmm.
When you get on stage and the sound is good, it's the best thing ever.
Oh, I know.
Having
Yeah.
fun is the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
Adversely, when the sound is bad, it's the worst
nothing
thing
worse.
ever because you know how good it could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, even that's funny. That's cool. I remember that show because I'll never forget looking over and the construction workers are like,
Did y'all play that a lot, or was that just like a one time?
we played it maybe 8 or 12 times.
Whoa,
somewhere
that's-
around
that's a
there.
lot.
We've played it a
then.
fair few times. It was
Wow.
so strange thinking back that they had bands when it was just like the
Mm.
skeleton of that
Yeah.
place.
You know?
And now
Yeah.
they don't have bands really at all.
Yeah.
They have that cool stage.
I know.
Well, the last
One
time
Daytona, if you're listening, come on.
Please.
Come on, yeah.
Please.
Get Patrick.
We got to do music.
Yeah.
Get Patrick to schedule some music,
Pretty
and
please.
we'll be there. Yeah.
Jordan Redding X Grey collaboration.
Yeah. Whoa.
That
Do
would
a
be cool.
Southern rock banger.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Whoa.
That needs to happen. Southern
No,
rock
that
band,
actually be
yeah.
really cool.
100.
I have one riff I'm working on that
Oh.
that is I could be the collab. Yeah.
Nice.
I
Cool.
love it.
Very cool.
Let's do it.
I'll show you afterwards.
Awesome.
Nice. So I feel like I'm hogging this thing. Do you have anything?
No, I mean you're good. I mean, I just saw them just recently. Summer's been begging me for like a year and a half to come to one of their
Oh,
shows.
come on.
And I just couldn't do it. And finally, she was a little bit more forceful, and she was playing at you were playing at the Boo Hill Saloon. I was like, yeah, that's my place. I normally hang out. No, it's not.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
But so I went down there, and I didn't know what to expect because all the rock concerts that I've witnessed around here were very garage bandish type. Like we're just trying this thing out to see like what'll happen.
Yeah.
And so I went to the Boo Hill Saloon, and I was like, wow, this is actually good. These
It's-
people are polished.
Yeah.
And, this is actually a good show. It's not somebody just, attempting something.
Yeah,
They're-
yeah,
they're-
yeah.
They're
Thank you,
doing
thank
it.
Yeah,
you.
it's
Thank you.
above that
Yeah.
that garage band thing. So yeah. How did you get to that point? Was it like a ton of rehearsal? Was it like everyone's goal to be like, we want to elevate our musicality? Or how does that happen? You've been doing it for years too.
No, I mean, I think it is just like thousands and thousands of hours at this
Mhm.
point of rehearsal. I mean, 12 years is a long time to be together. And right from the get, that was the mission statement. We did not want to be a garage band.
Mm-hmm.
However good we were or were not, we didn't care. We just wanted to elevate it to that level of a pro show, always. And I mean, we used to play our shows before we would play the show. Like we would meet at the studio, play through the entire like
do a
2,
little
3
dress
hour
rehearsal.
Yeah, play through the
Yeah,
whole
and then pack up.
show.
How was your
And
voice? I bet it got strong though.
It was strong like bull.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely prepped us for a lot of hard work doing that.
I don't see how you do that
Wow.
because when I was at your show, like you're pushing hard. Like,
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
I try.
You make Jordan sound like he's whispering.
I
you
know.
when he's singing. You know.
No. I am not the powerhouse
Yeah.
vocalist. You
Yeah.
know, like she is for
But she's
sure.
pushing it hard, so I
No, I
can
know.
imagine like doing a rehearsal and then going straight into doing a
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild.
A
It was
show.
a lot.
I've done it, not every show, but
Yeah.
oh yeah. But I mean, another thing too is like stamina. Like that's wild, especially y'all are playing a few hours, right? Like a normal show is what,
Usually.
3-4.
Usually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, wow, to do that, it,
Yeah.
it builds you up. It builds like a lot of
Yeah,
strength,
for
and,
sure.
vocally and just like body wise, I guess too.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
environment forces you to be strong.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's trial by fire. It's a long
I
time
love
to
that.
play
That's
music.
good for y'all.
It
Yeah.
is wild. We did that for a long time too.
Yeah. Yeah. Many
For like the first 4
the
albums
yeah.
we did that.
many
Mm.
an 8-hour rehearsal, many a 2-show day,
Yeah.
many a
Whoa.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do y'all deal with burnout? Because I work with a lot of artists that play Broadway, and they're doing like 3 or 4 shows a day.
Mm.
I mean, how do y'all deal with burnout?
I think we've really addressed that this year, or not. Well, it's January. But last year, we all kind of collectively agreed that we didn't want to play out as much anymore, for a couple of different reasons, and that definitely helped me. I think it helped everybody. Really, was just to not have every single weekend taken up by the band. Well, 'cause we would still meet and play. We just wouldn't always be playing out.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, for the first like 8 or 9 years, it was every opportunity we got, every show
Mhm.
that came our way, we were playing it. Practice twice a week. But I don't think that I can't speak for you, but I don't think that I ever felt like burned out. I do think that I started to see the crowds thin a little bit because we were so available all the time. When you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Mhm.
every weekend for
Yeah, you have
for
to create
10
that
years,
demand.
you do.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
do. And that I think we have done, stepping back on the shows a little bit and playing, once or twice a month versus every weekend all the time, sometimes in the middle of the week. It thickens the crowd. It makes
Yeah.
people more excited.
That's cool.
It lets us put on a better, more energetic show.
I think that's a good business decision too, because I think you can ask for money because you are getting, ask for more money because you are getting the crowd. So you're basically making the same money and playing less
Yeah.
because you got that crowd,
That's true.
because you're putting on a good show, and it's just not like, your voice is gone and you're trying to push through a show, and
Yeah.
like you say, crowds are just like thinning out.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
I think that's a good business decision. Now we're in Daytona Beach, so selling that to venues and things like that, is an uphill battle. But because they're like, you got to do 4 hours twice a week, and
yeah.
it's just they push people too hard, and
Yeah.
it just it doesn't make for good shows for them, and it doesn't make for you being able to do it long term.
Yeah.
And
And I think it exhausts the people too.
yeah.
I mean, 3 or 4 hours is a long time to ask anybody to sit and listen
Mhm.
to a band, no matter
Yeah.
how good or
Yeah.
bad they are. And when you have someone in every room all the time, no matter where you go, no one's excited to go out anymore because there's there's always someone there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
too, and there's so many places to
Yeah.
be. You know,
Yeah.
there's probably something like 80 places to play on any given night, 80
Mhm.
places to go. It just dilutes the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
how
that's
you
a good point.
Yeah.
Do y'all ever play just like an acoustic set somewhere?
Mm-mm.
No.
It's always the full band. That's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, we've only done it
Really, just for radio stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like if they want, a little live thing, we'll just him and I will do an
That's cool.
acoustic thing.
Yeah.
Or
But-
amazing podcast or
Oh,
Yeah,
obvious.
that Daytona's hit podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
That's
I would-
cool. It's pretty much exclusive to the
Yeah.
band, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
that's the mindset, It's
Yeah.
like, and that's when people do that, that's cool. But for us, obviously, you're the star. You're the star of the show.
Mm.
Surprise!
So
everybody
nice.
knows. You're just finding
Again,
it out.
you're the star.
So, and the idea is to always support you, like in a way that always makes you look, unattainable almost, like that much grandeur. And the best way to do
Yeah,
that
it's true.
is to support her with a band.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
because well, you know how it is. You can
Mhm.
only do so much with a guitar
Yeah.
or a piano,
Yeah.
and sometimes it just gets a little challenging.
That is a good place to be in. Is like it's so mature to be like, we have to uplift the singer,
Mhm.
because if the singer is not the star, nobody is.
Yeah.
Nobody will care. But
Yeah.
if there's a good girl, like really selling it and like killing it on stage, everyone loves that.
Of course, yeah.
And like, and that's so mature to be like, you're going to do your best and do like kill it on guitar too. But like the whole main objective is to be like, supporting the front man is like,
yeah,
that's so mature.
absolutely.
You don't hear that a lot.
Yeah,
It's like,
shit.
I know you're like the star, but I kind of am too.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
In my
Yeah.
head,
Yeah.
I'm killing it. But yeah, that's and that's something that we're always being considerate about.
Mhm.
Is
It's good.
it's the little things too. It's like, where to stand. Where's
Mhm.
Hannah? Where can we be? Let's
Usually
fill the
running
space.
into you.
Right. Usually
Oh,
running right into the
nice.
stock.
No.
I
So I
have
have to
like
go,
no
"Rah, rah,
regard
rah,
for
rah."
my own life.
Yeah.
So I just run into you.
And that's the thing too. And we all have. It's like I was saying before about when about creating music.
Mhm.
It's that unison goal where we're here to support the hierarchy and of the band of the music,
Mhm.
right? Which is you're on the top.
Mhm.
And that connection. And another thing too is like, even if I was a selfish musician, I would need to know that the front man, the front woman is the connection between me and the crowd.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you aren't doing a good job, if the band's not supporting you and letting you do a good job on that, nobody cares about
How
the
good the
players.
guitar player
Yeah.
is.
How
yeah.
the drummer is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
cares. But if everything's together and everything's good, they'll be like, Grey, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
great vocals. Amazing guitar player
Right.
too. All the musicians are so
Yeah.
good. But if that singer isn't right, it just
Mhm.
puts a dampener on everything.
Yeah.
Everything else is blurry.
It's
you know.
a level of like harmony.
Yeah,
Pun
yeah.
intended.
Yes.
But certainly.
Do you do
it's
harms
gotta
on
be
stage?
there. I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
we do a lot of them on the recordings,
Mm-hmm.
and we try to replicate them to the best
Yeah.
we can.
The
and
essence. Yeah.
Yeah, and we do. They're usually 3 parts anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
And y'all do 3-part live?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. Who else sings?
It's our keyboard player Kenny and our bass player Tommy,
Nice.
and then I'm back up, and then obviously
Yeah.
Me
magic.
She
doing
does
whatever it is that I do.
Summer does a little bit of singing.
Just a little
Just
bit.
a little,
Little
bit.
bit.
A little
Yeah.
touch.
When are y'all playing next?
Ocala,
On the
And
first
first
of
of
Feb.
February.
Hello.
Yeah.
first and last.
First and last tab
Mm-hmm.
in Ocala.
That's cool.
It's a cool little room.
I like that idea of kind of backing off a little bit to keep the interest,
Yeah.
because, like kind of the position I'm at, it's like, why would someone see me multiple times in a week
Right.
Mhm.
and also multiple times a month? Like,
Yeah.
even if they only say, I'm going to only see them this weekend. Okay, well, I'm also playing too much, So,
Right.
yeah, that's actually really good advice. So
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to that.
The only band that I've seen where they've been able to pull it off, like playing all the time, is Hayfire.
Hey, fire. Of course,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
They have
Everywhere they play, like it's 400 people. It's
The
the same
town.
400
Yeah.
people.
The
but
town comes out
Yes,
to
yes, they
party
do.
with them. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, why? Like, I mean, they're a great
They're
band,
so
but it's
good.
like
Yeah.
they're playing the same set list
Yeah.
for, 3 nights in a row. So I don't,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
They're just so good, and they just have friends that they've made a family. It seems
Right,
like
yeah.
that
Yeah,
are like, I am
definitely.
seeing my friends play
Definitely.
over there. Because
Yeah.
they like when you watch them too, you see their personality on stage too, and let's see if I don't butcher this. Something I want to start trying to incorporate is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care or something like that. Like
that makes sense.
it's like not necessarily like caring, but like your personality. Like they might not understand you until like, you know, once they start understanding you, that's when they start enjoying your music too. Like they like the artist, and then sometimes the music comes next.
They need a little
You know.
preface.
Like perfect example would be like Jelly Roll right now. Like I don't really listen to his music, but I just like if I hear him on a podcast, I'm like I'm listening.
Yeah,
you know.
you like him as a person.
Yeah, I like him as a person. So it's like, but I haven't listened to his album or anything like that.
Right.
But if he's coming to town, I might see him just because I'm like, oh, that's that guy. Like
Yeah.
So.
You're a lead female rock artist. You don't see that around often. How has that, affected you as far as getting bookings, and have you ever had any pushback from anybody? Oh, you're a girl. Like we no, seriously. I mean, it happens in country music.
Yeah. Oh,
it happens in country music all the time. That.
Yes. No, I think that we've been incredibly blessed, and not to toot my own horn or our own horn, but I think the product is good. So I don't think we've ever heard specifically like, oh, that's a chick fronted band. We don't want them. Maybe when we were a little younger and I had a little mouse voice that sounded like I lived inside of a mouse house, that was different. But now I don't think it's an issue. The only thing that comes to mind, and I'm not going to name and shame because it will just never be good. But there was like one very specific interaction that happened with a company that we were approaching with a song from the new album, and they said something to the effect of, "We don't want your back alley Joan Jett."
No, and that's just rude.
So, but that's fine. It's not for everyone. Totally fine. But that's like the only thing that comes to mind. It's never really been an issue.
It'll get to a point where they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. It was really when we were younger, because we've been together so long now. We were 10, 12 years younger. And
and even then, I don't
like
know. I don't know if it was so much about the fact that I was a girl or the music. I think that they were more concerned that we were children.
That's what it almost might sound like to me.
And that's the thing. It's like even then we weren't children. I mean, like.
Well, we didn't think we were.
No, but we weren't, because I mean, people who played in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah,
they were 18.
Teens and
That's very true.
Yeah.
It's like Karen Carpenter. It's like
right. I know. Right. Yeah.
She was a better drummer than most people. Still a better drummer than most people are now.
Yeah.
She was doing that
That's
when
true.
she was what? When she was like 15?
Yeah.
And who knows what that could be coming from.
But it might be the confidence too. Maybe there was one little shakiness in the confidence that they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then now being a band for so long, y'all have that confidence that like and they know when they hire you, they're getting a good product.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because I mean, going back to the Boo Hill Saloon, I mean, y'all were like really polished. Like, I was kind of going in there to be disappointed. I'm going to be honest. Like,
that's cool.
I was like, okay, rock band at Daytona Beach, like, it's going to be this garage band, but I was like, no, this is a lot more than
we appreciate
what I bargained for.
So you went in there, not wanting to be disappointed, but like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Surprise
Cautious.
me. Surprise me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and then they won you over, and then another compliment is the story that I told earlier. Someone just around being like, "Oh wait, that was good."
Yeah.
So y'all got that going on.
Thanks.
Whatever that is, just like the. Do y'all have a sound person?
We do, yeah.
You do, yeah.
And we have all our own gear.
Yeah. That's cool.
And
so it's just like the quality is just
but
good.
The sound man makes or breaks you. As you, I mean, everybody knows that, but we didn't know it until we knew it. We switched sound personnel, and not dogging on anyone ever. The person that we had previously was right for the conditions of the band when we met them. But as we progressed, I think we just, I don't know, we got so far into the rock vein that we just needed someone who kind of had lived in that world. And now that we have that person, hello Gilbert, it's unstoppable. It's really it's made such a
Shout
difference.
out Gilbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been, and the person doing sound prior to that, I mean, they decided to leave, you know. So we were like, okay, well, we accept it, and then we did get Gil, and it did change everything.
Yeah.
I bought like 6 guitars from Gil. He basically, for me personally, all my sound was all recommendations from him.
Maybe that was his secret plot all
Wow.
along.
He
He didn't
said-
really want to do sound. He just wanted to
Sell
sell
me
you
guitars.
guitars.
Of course. Oh, poor me.
Businessman. Yeah.
Poor
Oh
me.
no.
Yeah, I mean, he said, I play on a Boss Katana, and he was like, you
What's
gotta
that?
go. What's that?
What's a Boss Katana?
It's an amp.
Oh, okay.
It's,
Yeah, I'm
it's,
unfamiliar. Sorry.
Hey, you're good. And it's not a tube amp, but it's a modeler.
Yeah.
It models a tube
Yeah,
amp.
of course.
So, and he was like, you need this. And then I bought a couple, I bought a Les Paul from him, and that's one I usually play. And then, yeah, all that's just me personally. All my sound, I attribute to him. Just bought a compression pedal he told me to. And then when we got him on board as our full-time sound operator, we locked ourselves in, and we everything on the board on the Midas, save everything, and
Yeah.
he comes out and makes sure everything's good.
And we noticed a huge difference in the
Oh, yeah.
audience too.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
wow.
Just the response from people, it flipped. It was pretty wild, actually.
Yeah,
That's good. Good for y'all. I have a sound person. It's one of my younger cousins, and she's going to school for sound right now. But she
Cool.
has the
Nice.
ear like you wouldn't believe. I mean, we're from a really, really musical family. So I mean, just growing up with it, she just has the natural gift, and she is constantly adjusting, constantly
working.
musically working
Yeah.
with us.
That's the best.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing. She's in the band is the thing,
Yeah.
and it sounds like your sound, Gilbert, is in the band. Like
Oh, for sure.
it's like
Yeah.
equal.
Yes.
Even though like they're like the unsung hero.
Yeah,
You know. And
absolutely.
yeah.
I accidentally called Summer Hannah your cousin because they
Oh
they
yeah,
look
yeah,
similar.
yeah, Hannah.
The first time I met
my
her,
cousin's Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
Yeah.
Aw.
and the first time I met her, I was like, "Is this your cousin? Like, we're getting your cousin
Oh,
on the
they
podcast."
kind of maybe
Yeah.
look alike a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
That's
So
him.
what's next for y'all? So like, are you like what are some of your goals? Like, y'all are you have you're with management right now,
Yes.
and like, is your goal to like have them just like book you bigger and better shows, to get on a record label, to just travel more, or like all of the above? What's
Yes, all of the above.
Nice.
Actually, we were very blessed that at the end of last year, we signed with a record label.
you did?
So exciting. It's called Curtain Call Records. The people who own it are super nice. And it was one of those things that, you know, I feel like in the old days of being a band, people always used to say, oh, you never know who's in the crowd, and people will come and find you, and that's how you're going to get discovered. And I don't know if that happens all that much now, but that is actually what happened. We were playing Biketoberfest at the Boot,
Whoa.
the big outside stage, and one of their scouts was like, hey, you guys are pretty cool, and we ended up with them. So through them, I mean, hopefully there's already a lot of talk about just lots of traveling this year.
Nice,
So
good.
That's
That's
very
good.
exciting.
You know what I was really impressed with y'all? Because we crossed paths at the Doghouse that one time, and y'all had a really great trailer, really great cases for your equipment and stuff like that. It just seemed like everything, you're just so ready to travel anywhere, you know?
Right.
So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, and staying organized. You know how that is.
Oh, yeah.
Staying organized is so critical because it's all us.
Yeah.
All the gear is us. We put in every cable. I mean, we hook everything up. I wish somebody would come and do it for us.
I know.
But for now, it's what we do. And another thing is, you know, that part of it is important. Even then, you know, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be nice to show up and just play, but it's also nice to appreciate in retrospect, like how many miles of cable have we wrapped?
Yeah.
How many miles have we pushed the boxes?
Yep.
Drove the bus, dragged the trailer around. I mean, all of the above. I feel like all that works together, making us like a real cohesive unit.
It shows.
Yeah, thank you.
It really does.
Because like you mentioned, I mean, it's like a family. The whole band,
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
sound
That's good.
included. Of course, Gilbert and Karen, our manager.
Yeah. You can't not
everybody.
be. We've been in each other's pockets for over a
Yeah.
decade. So
And
True.
it's there's a lot of love
Yeah.
and there's a lot of trust, and it's been a lot of work. And y'all know the further you go working with people, the better you get at it, the more you get
Mhm.
done,
Hmm.
yeah.
and that feels good.
Yeah, definitely.
You know everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and
Certainly.
how people tick and
Yeah.
what not to tick.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you always know that you can pick up the phone and call somebody and say, "Hey, I need some help. Let's get this done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We need to do
That's
this. Let's
nice.
do this." And everybody's like, "Yep, all right, let's do it. Set a date." And that's hard, to have people committed to each other like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
But
So your band hasn't really been like a revolving door of musicians. Like it's pretty much been the same people, or a little yes and no.
with the exception of the bass player,
Can't keep them.
it's kind of like
Bass
the
players are hard.
It's like the drummer from Spinal Tap.
Yes. Oh, it's so funny.
Just pops.
Exploded. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had a couple bass players. We had our original bass player, Josh, who was with us for the first 10 years.
Mm.
And then he just wanted to step away, and he was starting his family.
Mm.
So he stepped away and finished up his education, got married, had a kid, and he's out there having a good time. We have we actually just played with
Yeah,
the
actually,
interim bass
The
player.
show that you saw, Patrick, was our old guy. Our old. He's not old. I'm such. Oh my god.
You're
Hello.
okay.
Dr. Ed.
Yes, Dr. Professor
Oh.
Eddie Avella.
Wow.
He was,
Really? He was our
Yeah.
interim bass player.
which is funny because he actually met us for the first time at the Doghouse.
Yeah. We were playing. We had our music coming through. We were playing "Crack the Sky" song.
Yeah.
And he thought, "Who is playing "Crack the Sky"? It's like a prog band."
Hmm.
He's like, "No way."
Yeah. Yeah. So we had him, and then
So he was just a guy in the audience,
yeah,
yeah.
and then he
but
played bass for you.
he
Yeah,
turns
he
out
ended
to
up
be.
playing
bass.
He's
Wow.
like a phenom guitar player, and he
Mhm.
played bass for us.
Wow.
And he's a great guy. Oh my god! Also, his voice is just so
Yeah, the
good.
That's
harmonies
awesome.
sound really
so
good.
That's great.
And then our buddy Lorenzo, who actually was in the guitar class that we were in when we were in high school.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He
Full
played with
circle.
us for a little while,
And they were both primarily guitar players.
yeah, that just kind of
And
humored us and played bass
yeah,
for a while.
it's hard because we'd love to have another rhythm player. And they were kind of interim bass players at the time, but it was just so difficult just to get everything back together. Like when you lose a member, you have to
Yeah.
like retrain, reteach,
Mhm.
redo everything
Mhm.
over again. And it happened kind of one after the other. And then we
Yeah.
had someone come down from up north, and then he left, and now it's Tommy now. So he's the bass
Yes.
player now.
Tommy
Cool.
Brady, the Scotsman.
That's
He's
right.
great. He's great. He's
Yeah, he's
family.
awesome.
He's awesome.
That's awesome. Good
Yeah.
for y'all.
Thank you.
It's good. Yeah, I mean, so traveling and like, are you already writing for the next album? Or are you kind of on a little break? Or really?
I mean, always in the back of my mind.
Always writing.
Yeah.
We've been tasked. You've been tasked.
I've been tasked with.
to kind of throw a single around
Yeah.
because it'd be nice to
With the
have a
record
single.
label, is that
Right.
them saying that?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think the goal is to re-release the record
Mhm.
in a sort of larger way because we just released it independently,
Mhm.
basically when it came out a year ago, 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Horrible memory. So yeah, we'll probably roll out a few of the songs from the new album 7 as singles and then something new too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where's the
Yes.
record label based out of?
Here in Florida.
Whoa, that's really cool.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Did y'all ever go in any other directions musically, or did you know it was always going to be that kind of like Southern rock kind of thing?
No, and actually, I realized my silly brain was like wandering as we were talking. We never fully answered your first question about how we ended up as, so it's like perfect way to wrap it up. We were industrial folk.
Whoa.
For a while.
What is that?
I have no
can't tell you
idea.
still.
Industrial. That's the first time I've ever heard that
Yeah.
subgenre.
Industrial
just-
folk.
You'll
I
be
mean,
the
they're
first and only.
Yeah.
they like
it doesn't exist.
kind of cancel each other out. Like
Yes.
industrial is like those.
Yeah, it was
those sounds, and then
Slow and
folk
stuff.
is like
Right.
not those
It was
sounds.
ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
It was really a soft rock,
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty
that's cool.
much.
Yeah.
Is how.
Okay.
But that's such a wide. But that's
Oh,
what
it
you were
was-
talking about genres earlier.
Yeah,
That's such a wide, like Ambrosia and the Eagles. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like soft rock, but
Yeah.
not really a lot, similar.
Right.
But yeah, no, we started, that was our humble beginning, was like this weird amalgamation of kids that really liked prog rock and my musical theater nerdiness. That was the first record. It was cool, I think.
Yeah.
Would you say the first record is industrial folk?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and listen to that one.
No.
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 It does, industrial folk, it doesn't exist.
Was that a joke?
It's not real.
Was that a joke?
No,
That's
No,
how
no,
it-
that's
We might
really
be getting
what we
something
called
and start.
ourselves.
Like when
we
you
might be
have-
starting something.
When you had the conversation for the band, you're like, "We're Greye, we're industrial folk,"
Yes.
and
Right.
That
yeah.
was what we called it, because nobody knew what we were, so we were
Yeah, not even
trying
us.
to like market it somehow. And
Were people out in the audience like scratching their head like,
yes, like
What-
what
See,
is
if
this?
you have to explain like the genre
You've
to
already
people, then
lost.
you've already
yeah,
They're like, "What do you mean? I gotta think about this."
yeah. So we kind of just did that, and then it eventually evolved as we started listening to harder stuff and stuff. Really, as you moved from acoustic to electric guitar, we kind of grew into the rock thing, I feel.
Well, a lot of that really came out of a respect for the audience,
Mm.
essentially. Because as I was saying, now we write like as a package. We've got our own kind of formula.
mm-hmm.
And we write with like respect to the audience. What does somebody want to hear more so than what do I want to play? And we didn't have that mindset for like the first 3 or 4 albums.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point when we did Under the Weather was really the point where we were like, we need to have like concise music concepts and thoughts that people can understand.
Yeah.
We had the guy who mixes and masters all our stuff, Brian Reeves. He does all the Billy Idol stuff, U2 Rattle and Hum.
Really?
Yeah, he does. I think who else? It was even some of the. I think we were talking about Taylor Swift. He might have done some of her stuff as
Yeah,
well.
I know the name.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right,
He's
and-
huge.
Yeah, and
Wow, good
he-
for y'all.
yeah, he's obviously his work is incredible, but he's just been an asset like musically.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I'll never forget him telling us was, why do you guys have like a 30-second intro? He's like, what purpose is the intro? And we were like, well, it sets the song up. He's like, yeah, but everybody's waiting for Hannah.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, you need to come in and you need to hit the ground and you need to go and then you need to be done. And then people will either like it so much they hit repeat or they want to hear the rest of the album.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh,
Wise.
maybe he's right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, we
But-
paid him to master. We didn't pay him to
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
wisdom.
You got
but
a
the
little bit
wisdom
more,
came with
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that prog rock side
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he and then we really started to approach it like these songs have to mean something. They have to be complete packages. And then it just makes you appreciate songwriting methods like if you listen to Elton John, there's a reason why it works.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of his songs are the first one is the verse 3.
Yeah.
If you notice that
Oh,
it
yeah,
comes
you're right.
around, the story tells itself
Mm-hmm.
and then it wraps around.
It reminds you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the dynamics and stuff like that. And you're right. I started to play electric because my acoustic setup, I had 2 pickups. One was for dirty, like solos, and then one was for clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just mix between the 2. And
Really cool.
yeah, and that was inspired from John Butler and my dad who plays guitar. And I would see people look at us and not really understand what I
we
was
were
doing.
Mm.
And be more concerned about how I was doing it instead of just enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, that's really profound.
People were
Yeah.
thinking more about the music than they were feeling.
Just let
and
it
listening.
come. Yeah.
So
yeah.
then I started transitioning onto electric, and you're right. Then we became like cognizant of like what an audience wants to hear.
Oh, this works. And I was able to step into the more of a female rock front
Yeah.
human.
We
so.
began to like own it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was still an organic. It was still the components were organic, but
Mm.
we took ownership and we started to really understand the kind of music that we wanted to make together.
Good for y'all. Well, it's working.
Yeah,
It
thank
really
you.
is.
Thank you.
That's
It
kinda-
really is.
That's how
Yeah.
we got to that southern rock thing, and part of that is rock, but we're in Florida, so
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Well, that's just
South.
southern
Do,
rock."
do you ever say that's rock? It's not Southern rock. Or you ever
Well-
that's only Southern. It's not rock.
Well, right. Well, we just started to embrace it. You know,
Yeah.
We're like, this is really what it is, and you know, you've seen us. There's slide guitar parts.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you're good at that.
Yeah, thank you.
You really are.
Oh well, the stuff that's on the record, that's not me, but thank you.
No, I saw
You
it.
don't
No,
have to
live.
tell.
Oh yeah,
Live.
yeah,
I know at the
appreciate it.
doghouse. You were doing a lot of
I
sliding.
remember. Yeah, well,
You're sliding all around
I remember
that
you-
place.
thank you.
Ooh.
It was just
Right.
one time, but I felt you're the only person who's ever said that about me.
Sliding all around.
Oh no, but because I only use the slide a little bit,
Oh yeah.
and I it's one of those things where you want to show somebody a little bit, and then they think, oh, what else can you do?
Well, why don't you slide all around more
I
often?
try to slide. I don't know. I get nervous
Oh yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
when it's just one guitar.
No, I know you need the foundation sometimes.
Yeah.
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 Well, anyway, it's been a real pleasure talking to y'all. I mean,
Thank you both. It was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we
Definitely.
love having y'all.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do some shows together. I know we've been talking a little bit about
I
that.
would love that.
But this has been a great little interview. Guys, I know y'all are going to be watching this a little bit later, but check out Greye. It's Greye with an E at the end. Y'all are on all streaming platforms. Is your handles on social media at Greye?
It's Greye Music, so Greye music.
At Greye
everything.
Music. Again, Greye with an E. It's been great having you here on the Luncheonette, and we're going to do a little live session after this, and so y'all get a little taste,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next time right here on the Luncheonette.
Hello, my name is Hannah Summer. This is Jet Wolf. We play in a band called Greye, and this is a song called Diamonds. This is not a cry for help. I'm not asking for much. I need some motivation, some new driving force. Did I meet your expectation, or did I come up short? Seems every path I've taken leaves me wanting more. What doesn't kill can build. Think I'd rather be stiff as stone. But you know what they say, yeah. No pressure, no pressure, no diamonds. Yeah, I feel temperatures rising. Something's got to give. Despite my best intentions, walls are closing in. Do I have your full attention, or will you just forget me? I know my history, but I want to go down in it. What doesn't kill can build. Think I'd rather be stiff as stone. But you know what they say, yeah. No pressure, no pressure, no diamonds. No diamonds, only dust. No pressure, no diamonds. No diamonds. No diamonds, only dust. No pressure, no diamonds. No diamonds. No pressure. 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 No, no, no. No, no. No, no. No, no, no. What doesn't kill can build. Think I'd rather be stiff as stone. But you know what they say, yeah. No pressure, no pressure, no, 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 no.